Hello and welcome to Space Between Ideas. I'm Blaine Gates. So it's day 32. I think that day 32 is very significant for us. I remember the day when we hit the first quarter, the 1/4 mark. And often I feel like 1/4, it's like, yeah, well, you still have 3/4 to go. But when you hit the 1/3, it's like, that is a big chunk. 32 days in a row. It has been very challenging. So this will be the last day for state inventiveness. And isn't that interesting? So we got the endeavor elements, we've got state progress, we've got state synergies. Today you are going to receive the state inventiveness badge number 4. That is awesome. Congratulations. Now, what does it mean to finish up state inventiveness? All right. So today's theme isn't too groundbreaking. And obviously, it's like it should be pretty obvious. So, for example, when we start talking about the endeavor elements, you know that there's 3 endeavor elements. The first, like the root, the base, is that we are trying to shape potential. And then, in order to shape that potential, we need to start to look towards some goals. What are we going to achieve? What would we like to achieve? And how do we want those achievements to continue to grow in the future? Now, in order to achieve those outcomes, then we need to use our potential and then we create a plan. All right, so we got these 3 areas. We got the shaping potential, we got the form agendas, and we have create effects. And like a lot of what we've discussed with state inventiveness surrounded shaping potential. And then eventually we were discussing, like when we talked about shape potential, like what kind of resources do you have? What kind of people are you working with? And like how motivated are these people? How do they interact? And how do you like them to interact? How can we develop something here? Then we started to move into the forming agendas area where we were doing some research and we were looking at like how exactly are we going to do this. Then we started calling our friends and our mother-in-laws, and really coming up with some scenarios. And eventually, we put that plan together, and now it's the last day. So the theme is uses or implement. So in order to derive benefit from the innovation or product, you need to put that plan into action. All right. I mean, once you've developed your prototype, once you have created your innovation, it's time to start selling it into the marketplace. It's time to do great. All right. So do you see the benefit of using the state inventiveness checklist? Do you see that systematically looking through each one of these steps has given you the opportunity to think through the process of inventiveness? The title of the state inventiveness checklist, it says like, let's look at the matches and mismatches between needs for inventiveness and proclivities of participants. All right, so that means like, how you doing? Can you innovate? How's your team doing? Can they innovate? Like, how's your company? Is it innovative? The market's going one direction. Are you going with the market or are you standing still? And this checklist has given you the opportunity to think through the process of innovation and eventually to now implement. Now, obviously, because we are recording these videos, you can push pause. You can go back. You can take as long as you need for each step of the way. But eventually, you will get to this day. For me, it's like every single day because we're doing a 101-day challenge. For you, there's going to be some space between ideas. So take all the time that you need. But one day you will get here and you will start selling your product. You'll start selling that innovation. You'll start using that innovation. You're going to start helping your customers to use your product. You're going to have a salesman who goes into these companies and identifies a need and then plugs in your product. You're going to have a customer service department who is receiving calls to help those customers to work through the bugs. You're going to have a marketing team who is turning on the speakers, sharing the innovation that you've created, helping people understand how it will benefit them. All of these people will be working to forward the message that you have for the world, that you now have the opportunity to increase productivity, to achieve better outcomes, to do great with your product or with your service. So you can see how these things kind of fit together. Like we've talked about shaping potential, forming agendas, and creating effects. You've seen how the state inventiveness, it takes that potential and then you go and do that research, you build those scenarios, and then today you go and do it. You do great. You recognize those outcomes. And then in the process of recognizing those outcomes, then figure out the reuses. What is the next innovation going to be? It's like a bicycle, right? Because once you reach that outcome, now that you have this product, now it goes down to the bottom again. Now it's potential. The outcomes that you achieve, the reuses, it becomes the potential. And now you got to start the process again because we are forward looking. We want to create another innovation. This process does not stop. The state progress checklist, it's just a wheel. It goes on and on. The state inventiveness checklist, it's another wheel. It just goes on and on. Remember state synergies. We also talked about state synergies. You got that badge too. So like in potential, you're talking about like what is the potential of the relationships that you have? How do we interact? Can we improve these interactions? What are the motivations within these people? What are the skill sets? What are the resources that we have with these people? And then we get them to start doing some research, or you do the research. Someone does the research. And you start to put together some scenarios. How can we help our customers? How can we work better as a team? How can we help our providers? And then go ahead and start achieving those outcomes and then reusing. So then we pull it down, we put it back into the potential again. All right, so as you can see, the state synergies checklist and the state inventiveness checklist, they both touch on the three different areas of the endeavor elements. Like obviously the state progress checklist is just like an expanse of the endeavor elements. And then you can see that these state synergies and state inventiveness, they're a cycle. As we continue to develop these relationships, then we can grow those relationships, grow our inventiveness, come up with new products, have more providers, have more suppliers, have more guys on our team, and then achieve better outcomes, and then start again. We just keep on going in this continual pattern. All right, so you got 4 badges as of this moment. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. Take the next half day off and get ready for tomorrow because we have even more coming at you tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, so in the form agendas, all right, so like you have the endeavor element form agendas, and then you have 3 different areas. So you're going to choose your plan based on what? Building scenarios based on what? Making assumptions. All right, so the next checklist is called state assumptions. Are you ready? So in this area, maybe it's different, maybe it's the same, but as you can see the 3 endeavor elements and shape potential, it breaks off into these 3 different layers. And then state assumptions is now going to break off into a whole checklist. What does it mean to build? What does it mean to make assumptions? All right? Like what does it mean? Like what are the steps? Like as you can see from the state inventiveness checklist, if you tell someone to be innovative, it's like, okay, fine, I'll be innovative. But like how? Like how can we be more innovative? All right, so then here's Tom Buckles gave us this checklist. Here's what you should consider to be more innovative. He gave us like 8 or 9 different points. Like that's awesome, right? Now you're like, whoa, like I think I could be innovative now. So my mission, as I've been saying since the beginning, is to help you overcome emotional, intellectual, and organizational hurdles, to help you achieve success, to help you achieve better results. And the way that we do this is by introducing you to the themes of these checklists, which were created by Dr. Thomas Buchholz. The next step is going to be talking about assumptions. I think there's like 5 or 6 different areas of building, making assumptions. What does it mean to make assumptions? All right, so that's where we're going next. The main idea is that you need to spot the needs for additional information. I mean, this whole process is about finding blind spots, right? Finding like where is it in your emotions that you're having a hard time getting through because you feel insecure. You feel like I don't want to fail. You feel like I'm not sure what to do. You feel like I've experienced some failures in the past. I've all these things that are like, I got all these knots inside of me. But okay, so let's give you a framework. If you have this framework, now we can pinpoint what exactly is it that you're having a hard time with. Here are the steps you can take. Bring some people in. Let's see if we can take this with baby steps, one little step at a time. All right, so this is probably like state assumptions. It's the opportunity to figure out like to what extent does the information that you have meet needs, right? We all have needs for information. And to what extent is the information that you're getting, is it meeting your needs? If you don't have the right information, of course, you're going to make some decisions which have some problems wrapped up in those things. Or you're going to be hesitant. Or you're just like not really sure, like how do we move forward? So I hope that in the next week, as we discuss the state assumptions checklist, that you will start to be able to create some framework for how to move forward. I find that most people, they don't really have a database. They don't have an organized way to sort information. They don't really go to sources and derive benefit from information. There's a lot of issues surrounding gathering data and trying to glean from this so that you can meet the needs for information. So I look forward to seeing you this week, Space Between Ideas, and I'm looking forward to it.